All right, folks, what is going on? Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is episode 297 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. And yesterday was a special day. I was not able to catch up with everything when it comes to the actual schedule that was released. Georgia Southern football 2022 schedule has been released. We're going to talk about each and every game that's on the schedule, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions and which games I'm probably going to attend. Last episode when I talked about Cordell Patterson, in the beginning of that episode, I talked about the first 4 games, but we're going to talk about all the conference games because that's the rest of the schedule. So we already know all the non-conference games. So now we know every game on the schedule, and it's a pretty interesting schedule. It looks pretty good, and I'm really interested to see what we're going to do against these teams. So we're going to talk about all that. First and foremost, if this is your first time here, welcome to the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. You can find me over here on the YouTubes or Rumble, or if you want to listen on the audio side of things, I'm on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Google, and Apple. So you can listen to me whenever you like on the go. And if you decide to download any of those the podcast avenues, I think they have an auto download where you can it will download as soon as I put up the content, so you won't have to worry about it. All you have to do is hit play and you'll be good to go. Also, I want to thank everyone if you're returning, I appreciate it. I really appreciate it a lot. That means to show me that you guys are listening, and makes me want to continue to do this content. Finally, if you want to donate to the podcast, the links are down in the description. I also have a Patreon that is up now where you will be getting an extra episode on the weekends when we talk about various topics in the sports world. So be on the lookout for that if you're interested. All the links will be down in below. Let's go ahead and get into this. All right. Episode 297. Let's see. 2022 football schedule. Man, let's see. We already talked about the Morgan States of the world. We talked about going to Nebraska, UAB, and Ball State is coming to Georgia Southern September 24th. Now, this is where things get really interesting because conference play starts on October 1st, and we're going to Conway, South Carolina. We're playing Coastal Carolina. This is a really interesting start because Coastal Carolina is going to be a really big test for us. They're one of the prominent teams in the Sunbelt right now, and it's a Sunbelt East game. This is going to really show us what we're made of conference-wise. Now, by October 1st, we're going to know what type of team. We should know what type of team we have after playing 4 games, especially against the likes of Nebraska and the UAB. Ball State and Morgan State is not a pushover, but we definitely wouldn't know what type of team we're made of when we're playing higher or upper level college football teams. So first and foremost, I am trying to go to the UAB game and the Ball State game. So I'm trying to get to both of those. I don't know if I'm going to make it 3 in a row. We're going to Conway, South Carolina. I live in South Carolina. I'm not sure if I'm going to try to make that game, but it just depends on how things go between now and then. Definitely, I want to try to get to the Georgia State game. Georgia State is the October 8th game. I'm looking at the schedule. I'm actually off that weekend, so that's going to be pretty cool. I may take that trip back down I-20 and go to Atlanta and watch our Georgia Southern Eagles play Georgia State. Another game that's kind of weird that they're playing so early in the season. It's our second conference game, and we usually try to play those games in November or like the last game in October because it's somewhat of a rivalry game. And I was told by a few people saying they're moving it up, so they're trying to take it so it won't have like rivalry implications. Implications. I think I said that right. Man, I'm not good at words, but anyway, implications. I don't care what anybody says. Georgia State, Georgia Southern is a rivalry. I've been saying this for, a few years now. And I am disappointed that, in the past that we as a team didn't look at them as a rivalry. But I made a video about this. I don't need to go any further about this entire situation as far as Georgia State, Georgia Southern. But you need to take this team serious. It's a team that's in the state. Yes, we've gone all over the state picking up talent, but that doesn't mean that we can't treat these guys as a rivalry. Because if we go in and lose this game, there's implications to where we can lose recruits, in-state recruits. I don't care how well you can recruit, but if we're losing against this same team, they have an upper leg on us to find a way to attract recruits away from us. So it's a rivalry. I don't care what anybody says, and it's going to stay that way. All right, we're going to play James Madison. They come to Paulson on October 15th. That's going to be a really good game. That's going to be really interesting to see us play an old team, one of our old FCS rivals once again. And I would love to attend that game as well. Man, I'll be honest, I want to go to every game. I want to go to every game if I could. But I don't know what my schedule is going to look like. It would change, but as of right now, I have to work. So I won't be able to go to that game. And obviously, the Old Dominion game, I already talked about that on Twitter. When we came back and beat them, I think the last time we faced them, that was the Taylor Heineke game. And we played them on the 22nd at Old Dominion. So that's going to be a really good travel for the team to actually experience for some of the players who never been there. Pretty good facility up there. Can't wait to get to James Madison as well. They have a very good football stadium. South Alabama comes into Paulson, and we get to face them again after we was embarrassed by them last year in I think they play in Mobile, Alabama. They really embarrassed us last year. We was going through all this turmoil with the interim coach and everything, and the team just was not ready on Thursday, which is another thing. We played them again on Thursday. No, I'm sorry. We played them on Saturday, so that's pretty good. We played Louisiana on a Thursday. But nevertheless, it was really disheartening that that was the game I felt like everything was falling apart. At that point, when we played South Alabama, when we lost to them, it was I think it was Jake Bentley played for them at the time, and it was really that was really embarrassing because I can't even put into words, because I really felt that we could have did something against this team, but when I saw the way we played, that's when I know the ceiling was officially falling for our 3-9 season. So that was not that was pretty much the turning point of the season where I knew things wasn't going to be the way they are. We're going to play New Louisiana. We're going up there. Billy Napier is not with Louisiana anymore, so it's going to be really interesting to see how they play. By that time, this is going to be pretty much the end of the season for the most part for a lot of teams, and we really know what type of team we're made of at this point. And playing against Louisiana, we're going to know what type of transition that they had and how well that transition was. So therefore, we should have a pretty good makeup of what both teams are. I'll be surprised if Louisiana is the same team, but you never know. I mean, some coaches stay back and they reload, and some coaches come in and make a name for themselves. So we'll see how that plays out. That's what we're doing right now with Coach Helton. We're reloading and trying to make a name for ourselves as well. The last two games, I'm going to try to put these into one commentary segment right here. Marshall and Appalachian State, both we played them November 19th, and we play Appalachian State on the 26th. Both in Paulson, what a way to finish the season. We're going to have a really good chance to punch both of these teams in the mouth at the end of the season and leave a bad taste in their mouth for the rest of their for the off season. Very, 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 very exciting time to end the season on this way. Marshall comes to Paulson. Appalachian State comes back to Paulson after what's happened last year. I think with the Appalachian State game is going to be a much, 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 much more better, much more competitive game. That's what I want to say. Much more competitive game than last year. I think our team has reloaded and we've gotten a lot better than last year. All of the guys who are injured will be back. But at the same time, this is at the end of the season. So, no telling who may be available, who may be playing at this time. Hopefully all of our prominent players are able to go. And if not, the ones who step up can play at a high quality level So we'll be able to be very competitive against both Marshall and Appalachian State. Appalachian State is always going to be a team that is going to be willing and ready to play up against the Eagles. I mean, this rivalry has been going on since the late 80s. So why not continue that rivalry in a time like this where the Sunbelt has expanded? 3 of the 4 teams that are coming into the Sunbelt we're going to be playing this year. And that just goes back to Marshall. Marshall is is one of the most prestigious colleges that nobody really talk about. Marshall has a really good name for themselves throughout the world of college football, and they have pretty good name recognition. Not only within the world of college football, but I mean outside of college football. I think they had a football movie made from out of their name, or I think it was a movie. Then you still have guys like Randy Moss and whatever the case may be. So if not too many people, but a lot of casual people will understand Marshall as a college football team. So for them to come to Paulson is almost as prominent as like when BYU came to Paulson. So it's a really big deal for them to come to Paulson. I can't remember if this is the first time here. I don't know, but as of right now, it's a pretty big situation to where that's one of the games that could really garner a lot of fans. We possibly could have a sold out stadium with this game. I mean, all the other games that are coming in, obviously, I think we're going to have a really packed, big crowd for all these other games because the excitement of the new coach and the new scheme and everything under that umbrella. But I think with Marshall coming in, you're going to have a pretty big crowd. I expect this going to be like a BYU style atmosphere when BYU came last year. Probably the same way with James Madison as well, because I mean they're a very proud and a prominent team as well in the FCS. So for them, I expect them to have a pretty big following coming to Paulson. I don't expect too much out of the other teams, to be honest, but I think that if you're looking at a situation where the visiting team will try to come in and drown out the power of Paulson, I think the James Madison and definitely the Marshall game. I think those 2 teams are going to travel really well, and that's going to be really cool to see. Appalachian State, yeah, so. Sometimes they travel. It just depends. The few times they were there, they had a pretty decent crowd, but it wasn't nothing like BYU. I'll tell you that much. BYU came in and really put on a show as far as their fan base. I mean, all the way from Utah, and they came in. That was just awesome. Also, Ball State, I don't expect them to travel. I'll be very surprised if they do. Morgan State, same way. I think Morgan State is probably going to have the same type of crowd like they did when Gardner-Webb came. So, but nonetheless, I think we're going to be okay. I think this is going to be a really good season for us, and it's going to be a really good test for Coach Clay Helton. What he can do against a UAB or a Nebraska. Hell, what can he do against Morgan State? I mean, we thought we were going to do good against Gardner-Webb last year, albeit that Coach Chad Lunsford and them was in charge, but that was a kind of a wake-up call for us, and it was a sign of things to come for the season. So what we're going to do against Morgan State? Can we go out there and put up 40, 50 points against them? Because we do that, we start out being aggressive and put up those type of numbers against an FCS opponent, that's going to start telling the tale of what we could do against a Nebraska UAB. And for the rest of the conference. 'Cause I'm going to tell you now, from October 1st on down, it's not going to be an easy cakewalk. It's not. I'm not taking none of these teams for granted. I think these teams are going to be able to put things together to try to win some football games. Not only against the rest of the conference, but against us. James Madison already has a chip on his shoulder. South Alabama feel like they can beat us. They did last year. And we already know how we feel about Louisiana, Marshall, and Appalachian State. Those last 3 games are going to be pretty tough. So that's what we're going to be looking at. The Nebraska and UAB game is, those out of conference games that are pretty tough. Those are, if we can go in and be competitive or even beat Nebraska, that's going to send waves around the country, and that's going to put everybody on notice on what Clay Helton is doing. So This is why. I mean, this is why I'm glad that this schedule is set up the way it is. I'm glad that it's set up to the point where we can we can have a really good measuring stick for this team throughout this entire schedule. When it comes to, okay, what we can do against Morgan State. Okay, we got a tough opponent in Nebraska. Then we go back and play a UAB team that has always have been, well, since they came back as a football program, turn around and be a really good team. Ball State. Can we beat Ball State in Paulson? Now, I think the Ball State game is a game where we really, I honestly feel I think we can really dominate this game against Ball State. But it's too early to tell. But it's just a measuring stick. After we finish those 4 games, we should be, my opinion, and I don't want to get too far in this, and I'm just going to leave it as I think we should win the first 3 games at least of our first 4 games. Now, the rest of the schedule, all bets are off. I can't say we're going to beat Coastal Carolina. I can't say we're going to beat Old Dominion. I can't say we're going to beat, because the Sunbelt Conference is just that good. It's just that good. So the first 4 is basically a measuring stick on how well we're going to be. Are we going to be competitive against Nebraska? Are we going to beat UAB? Are we going to beat Morgan State? I think with the talent that we have and the coaching staff that we have, I think we're going to be able to shock a lot of people. I really believe that. 3-1 or nothing less. Nothing less than 3-1 coming out of the non-conference games. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Once the conference game starts, then we'll know. I think the Coastal Carolina game, that's going to be, I'm gonna be honest. That may be the toughest game that we have, because we have all the other prominent, I'll say all the other prominent Sunbelt teams at home outside of Louisiana. We got Appalachian State. And there's no disrespect to Georgia State. I don't think Georgia State is a prominent. I don't think they're a prominent Sunbelt team right now, but they are a foe against us. It's a rivalry game. So I think that when you talk about the prominent teams, you're talking about teams that are constantly being ranked, winning 10, 11 games. So when you look at Coastal Carolina, they're one of those teams that's doing that. You look at Appalachian State, they're one of the teams that's doing that. Louisiana is one of those teams that's doing that, but they lost so much, so I don't really put too much on that right now. Marshall is capable of coming into this conference and winning 10 games. They're just that talented. Louisiana beat them in the bowl game last year, but Marshall is probably the now and the ready team that just came into the conference that can probably just walk into the conference and be just as high as on the totem pole as Coastal and Appalachian State. Marshall is just that good. They've been good in their conference, and that's the team that we're gonna have to worry about right away. And like I said, Louisiana, like I said, since they lost their coach, I don't know how well they're going to do. By the time November 10th comes, we would know. Hell, I think by the time the end of September comes, that we would know what type of team Louisiana is. So the toughest game that we have conference-wise, I believe, is Coastal Carolina in Conway, South Carolina. They last time we was there, I think it was the last time we was at Coastal Carolina, we lost by 2 touchdowns or something. I think that was the game. We lost 28-14. I can't remember. But Coastal Carolina came in and beat us the following year. And we have to find a way to to set the tone for the Sunbelt Conference road. Once we start conference play. So outside of that, the rest of the games, they're going to be tough, but I think the toughest is definitely going to be the Coastal Carolina game. James Madison, they come to Paulson. It's going to be interesting to see what they can bring to the table as an FCS opponent, a former FCS opponent. Can they come in and hang with the big boys? I think they can. James Madison's a very good team. And I'm not taking nothing away from them, but the fact they're playing at Paulson gives us a slight edge. Old Dominion, I haven't watched much of what they can do lately. I just don't know what they're capable of. That may be the second toughest game because we're playing away, but I feel that we can get a victory there because I don't know the talent level of their team like I know James Madison, and South Alabama, once again, we're in Paulson, so we get the slight edge there. Louisiana, don't know what they got going on with their coaching staff, so I'm gonna have to watch them. Maybe all this is going to change by the time we get there. Marshall and Appalachian State, those are going to be the toughest games that we play at home. I don't think they're going to be the toughest games of the season because we do have the power of Paulson behind us, and with the team that we got set up, we're going to be fine long as injuries or suspensions or anything like that don't come about. Hopefully they don't. We should be fine against them. But the Coastal Carolina game, the first game of the conference, after all that we did the first week, conference play is a really big deal. We're going to Conway, South Carolina. Those guys love to play football up there. They got a pretty good winning culture up there, and they're going to be ready to go. They're going to be ready. We need to be ready. So I think that's going to be the toughest game in conference play. So that's I don't want to go around robbing with that, but I am really high on the Coastal Carolina game, and obviously all the other games as well. But let's see what we can do in the first 4 games. So at the end of the day, this is a really exciting time. We finally got the entire schedule. We have an opportunity to go undefeated. I mean, that's just what it is. We can do it, but it's going to be tough. I think it's highly unlikely, but we have an opportunity to do so. Early predictions. I still think we're more, at this point, we're more than capable of winning 8 games with this schedule. More than capable of winning 8 games. And I said this from the beginning, that the 8 games are nothing else. 8 games minimum that we have to accomplish this season. We go from 3-9, we're going to at least 8-4 with a bowl game, and hopefully we win that bowl game as well. But we're more than capable of getting double-digit wins in this schedule, and I firmly believe that. That's early prediction. I'm still going to stick with 8-4, but I wouldn't be surprised if we end up 10-2. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to close this out. Thank you guys for watching or listening. If you like this content, hit the like button. Share this video or this content on the podcast avenue. Subscribe to the content if you like, whether it be on YouTube, Rumble, Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you like to hear this content. Subscribe and let people know what I'm doing over here. Give me some feedback. Let me know what I need to do. Hit that 5-star rating on that star chart and give me some feedback. If you don't like what you hear, or you think I need to change some things, I listen and read to all the feedback that's out there because I want to be better for you guys. I want to be better so we got better content. So that's pretty much it for me. I will see you guys tomorrow on Thursday. We have a new topic. And if you would like, check out all the things in the description if you want to get more information and or donate. I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. You guys take it easy. You guys be blessed. Peace.